In the world of competitive Pokémon, no spot at the top is ever guaranteed. Some Pokémon once ruled the metagame, being feared and respected by every player. But today, they've fallen from glory. In this video, we'll dive into some of the Pokémon that have seen a significant drop in their power and usage, and explore why these Pokémon fell off so hard throughout the generations. So let's get straight into that. Starting this video by grouping several Gen 1 Pokémon together, because otherwise this entire list will be dominated by them. Half of the OU tiered Pokémon from Gen 1 have dropped all the way to the ZU tier in either Gen 8 or Gen 9, depending on the last available generation. This includes Exeggutor, Jolteon, Jynx, Rhydon, Snorlax, Tauros, Victreebel, Golem and Marowak. Marowak was actually ZU in Gen 1 but OU in Gen 2, so it does deserve a mention. Another Gen 1 Pokemon worth mentioning is Charizard. It reached its peak in Gen 3 where it was ranked OU and is now also ranked ZU in Gen 9. Since there are quite a few Pokemon to cover, I will do a rapid fire round and briefly explain their roles in the metagame during that period. Exeggutor has powerful moves like Explosion, Sleep Power and Psychic, along with solid stats and unique typing, and reliably counters Rhydon and Slowbro. Its mix of defense, utility and wall-breaking power secures its place on many teams. Jolteon's high speed and special stats make it Thunderbolt a powerful threat, allowing it to outpace most of the metagame and even revenge kill Tauros. It's a strong lead, forcing out Starmies and paralyzing other leads like Alakazam and Jynx. Defensively, Jolteon handles Zapdos well and pressures water types like Slowbro. Jynx is the second fastest sleep inducer after Gengar, making a strong lead that can incapacitate checks. Its stab Blizzard lets it defeat Pokemon like Exeggutor, Rhydon and Zapdos, complemented by its powerful stab Psychic and high special stat. Rhydon holds a significant position in Gen 1 OU due to its unique typing and strong attack stat, with Earthquake being the most powerful physical attack in the game without drawbacks. Its type provides defensive utility, allowing it to switch in against Hyper Beam charges, absorb explosions and avoid Thunder Wave, and even counter Zapdos and Jolteon. I'm including Golem in this spot too, as it has competed with the Golem for many years, and these two Pokemon provide almost identical utility, with Rhydon eventually coming out on top. Snorlax is a central figure in the Gen 1 OU metagame, appearing on nearly every team due to its exceptional strength, bulk and versatility despite its low speed. With Reflect, Snorlax significantly enhances its physical bulk and can unleash powerful body slams with minimal concern for incoming damage. In Gen 2, Snorlax combines power, resilience and unpredictability, making it a staple on nearly all serious teams and defining the Gen 2 OU metagame. Its presence forces teams to include sturdy normal resistant Pokemon and diminishes the viability of many special attackers due to its enormous HP and high special defense. Snorlax poses a constant threat as a Curse Sweeper, Bellytron user, mixed attacker and Restock Wall. Tauros is the most iconic Pokemon in Gen 1 OU, significantly influencing the tier since the beginning. It stands out as the strongest offensive threat thanks to powerful body slams and hyper beams, along with coverage moves that can hit any Pokemon resistant to its stabs. Its high speed and critical hit rate, combined with decent bulk, make it challenging for most teams to switch in against. Victreebel lacks clear strengths but can exploit metagame trends. With average speed and access to Rep and Sleep Power, it pressures slow staples like Exeggutor, Chansey and Snorlax. Victreebel's powerful Razor Leaf deals significant damage to key Pokemon like Slowbro and Rhydon. Additionally, it can use Stun Spool and Sword Stance, making it a threat against slower teams and those managing paralysis. Overall, it excels at closing games against the weakened opponents. In Gen 2, Marowak boasts the highest attack stat in the game with a Tick Club item, and it can reach the 999 attack cap using Sword Stance alongside Stab Earthquake to devastate the enemy team. In Gen 3, Charizard is a high-risk, high-reward Pokemon that demands careful planning, but the payoff is often significant. With Belly Drum, it can obliterate teams once bulky water types are weakened, and faster threats like Starmie and Gengar are dealt with. Charizard can also be used as a special attacker with the combination of Substitute and Focus Punch to break their Blissey. This set has quite some surprise value compared to the Belly Drum sets, and can pave the way for other special attackers in the team when Blissey gone. Tauros and Snorlax are especially heartbreaking cases, as they were once titans of the meta, with Snorlax even being a must-have in Gen 2 OU. I also want to give an honorable mention to Miltank, which was OU in Gen 2 and ended up ZU in Gen 8 as well. The reason for this decline is simple: power creep. The stats have significantly fallen behind the newer, stronger Pokémon introduced in later generations. Gen 1 also had some odd mechanics that benefited most of these Pokémon, making them more viable at the time. Still, it's sad to see so many Gen 1 staples become nearly unusable in modern competitive play. Mew, another Gen 1 Pokémon, was one of the only two Ubers at the time. Its balanced base 100 stats across the board, combined with an incredibly deep move pool filled with setup options, status moves, utility, and strong offensive attacks, made Mew one of the most versatile and powerful Pokémon ever. Mew's status as an Uber's Pokémon remained unchanged until Generation 5, where it dropped to UU. And since then, it has floated between OU and UU for several generations. This gradual decline wasn't too bad, and Mew wouldn't have made this list if it wasn't for its significant fall in Generation 9. Currently ranked NUBL, Mew has fallen so far that it isn't even viable in RU, where even Yanmega finds a spot. In Gen 9, Mew was heavily nerfed, losing several key utility moves that once defined its versatility, effectively forcing it into an offensive role. With a rise in power creep, its base 100 stats now feel unimpressive, offering little advantage over other hazard setters or offensive Pokémon. Once a staple in competitive, Mew has severely fallen behind in Gen 9, seeing almost no usage in most tiers. Deoxys Defense is another Pokémon that spent several generations in Ubers. It had multiple retests in OU, but none lasted long. While it wasn't particularly strong in Ubers during recent generations, it was still too powerful for OU thanks to its incredible bulk, reliable recovery, pressure ability, and excellent utility. As a result, Deoxys Defense remained in Ubers for quite some time. However, this changed with its reintroduction in Generation 9, where it was tested in OU once again. Like Mew, Deoxys Defense fell to NUBL, struggling to even carve out a niche in RU. Despite its impressive bulk and solid utility options, Deoxys Defense is far too passive in this generation without access to Toxic. Many Pokémon can take advantage of its passivity, and its reliance on staying healthy is hindered by the limited PP on recover. These factors contributed to the downfall of Deoxys Defense in competitive play. Next up is a duo, Salamence and Thundurus. Both of these Pokémon were once so dominant that they were banned to Ubers, with Salamence in Gen 4 and Thundurus in Gen 5. Salamence was banned for its incredible versatility, primarily as a Dragon Dance sweeper that could also run mixed sets effectively. Thundurus, on the other hand, was banned to its high speed, great special attack, access to Nasty Plot, and perfect coverage. In the generations following their bans, both Pokémon found a home in OU, occasionally dipping into UU. However, this streak came to an end in Generation 9, where both are now ranked RU. The intense power creep in this generation has made these once dominant threats far less impressive than their original Uber status. Salamance's outrage is no longer problematic, with prevalences of fairy types, and its special attack is below average by today's standards. On top of that, it has lost access to some key utility moves. Thundurus, meanwhile, has been hit by multiple nerfs to its moveset and prankster ability, and its speed isn't as overwhelming anymore. Most importantly, the competition has simply grown stronger, leaving these two former titles behind. We should also give an honorable mention to Cloyster, which got banned to Ubers in Gen 5 somewhat recently, and now finds itself in NUBL. Next up is another duo and the last two Pokémon on this list, Magneton and Misdreavus. Misdreavus holds a unique niche in Gen 2 OU as the only pure Ghost type, which grants it a valuable immunity to normal type moves. This allows it to pivot into predicted explosions, effectively check most Snorlax variants, and stop Starmie from using Rapid Spin more reliably than Gengar. Misdreavus also brings versatility through its diverse move pool. Its Bear's Trap set and Disruptor set are also key sets that team have to prepare for. After Gen 2, Misdreavus found itself mostly in the lower tiers and eventually dropped to not fully evolved in Gen 7. Magneton wasn't all that great until it gained the incredible ability Magnet Pull in Gen 3. Magnet Pull Magneton plays a unique role in Gen 3 RU by trapping prominent Steel-type Pokémon like Skarmory, Fortress, and opposing Magneton. Skarmory and Fortress are Magneton's primary targets, as they are potentially one-hit killed by Thunderbolt or Hidden Power Fire, and they give Magneton a free switch in when they are setting spikes. This niche however was mostly overshadowed by its evolution Magnezone introduced in Gen 4, though Magneton still had a niche in Gen 4 and Gen 5 OU over Magnezone till this day. Over the generations, Magneton still had a solid niche as a Steel Trapper in lower tiers, but in Gen 9 it has now dropped to ZU, which is quite a step down. The reason for their fall is quite obvious. These Pokemon stats are not up to par to many Pokemon in the game, due to these Pokemon being, well, not fully evolved. Let me know if there are any Pokemon I might have missed and you think should have been on this list. And if you liked the video, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you are new. You can also become a member if you would like to support the channel even more. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.